Welcome back, denizens of the Omniverse. Today we are diving into episode 3 of season 2 of Young Royals. I just want to get into this because I'm a little behind recording today, so let's get ready to just jump in. Last episode was kind of crazy anyway, as they all have been so far. Anyway, if you want to see the full-length reaction, as always, or if you want early access or submit your own comments, questions, and fun facts for me to read at the end of these videos, you can do all that over on Patreon. Over there, get the same thing for all the other shows and movies we cover on the channel. You also can suggest and vote what movies to react to each month. It's just a great way to support the channel, help us do things we do over here. But at the end of the day, I really appreciate it. Enjoy this reaction. At least if you like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already, because it really helps these videos out. Huge shout out to the team over at Prepper for helping me edit down these highlights for you guys here on YouTube. Hey guys, editing Omni here, popping in just before we get into the video to remind everybody, at least at this point, the poll for what show is going to be taking the place of this once we wrap it up has officially gone live. So if you want to go over, participate, cast your vote in what we cover next over there, that's another thing to do over on Patreon. With that all said and out of the way, let's go ahead and hop into episode 3. Here we go.
Jag blev uppriktigt förvånad när jag såg att du hade ringt plastfarsan som är Sveriges bästa advokat.
I mean, that is pretty convenient.
Att sprida den här typen av video skulle kunna gå under grovt olaga integritetsintrång. Straffvärdet är oavsett.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that part of it. Outside of, yeah. Oh, right. We ended off with the Crown calling him, didn't we? Or is he talking to his stepdad because they're seeking legal action or potentiality, or is he scared in anticipation of what could happen? Did that conversation happen yet? Or are we going to go back and see what that conversation was? Or am I misremembering how the last episode ended?
Vad händer om jag bara erkänner?
Det finns inget att vinna på att erkänna. Visningen på vem som är målsägande.
Vad är målsägande?
Offret. Handlar det här om den här skandalvideon?
Yeah, only a little bit. Wow, he's in such a sticky ass position right now. He's lost everything. He's not a prefect. He's not the captain of the teams here anymore. He's lost all this ground. He gets to finish school thanks to the person he victimized and did this all to. Now, this is raining down upon him too because of the Crown, potentially. Again, we don't have all that context just yet. I mean, considering the fact that he's reaching out to his stepfather about whatever legal avenues could be coming his way. And then also the fact that his legacy, well, we don't know just yet, but for him to have stayed in school, he would have had to have liquidated his father's legacy, which he didn't want to do because he wanted to inherit that. But that is also still kind of falling to the wayside and crumbling. But that still seems to at least maybe be on the table, but there's still the possibility that might still happen, just depending on whatever other outside external factors, affect all of that as well. Because the family as a whole seems to have already kind of been leaning that way despite what's going on with the school part of it. And then there is, yes, the possibility, depending on what charges are brought down or what those charges even lead to, because it can evolve away from what they initially charge you for or are coming or seeking damages for, like he said. And that's something I didn't even consider in the moment, when he leaked that video like that, is that distribution of so-and-so, and then also how any of this could eventually lead to prison time. And he's just like, whoa, his world. I would, again, not be shocked if this kid ends up checking out just like his father did. With all of this, I just don't even know how you would cope. Not to victim blame here, but he did do what he did, and this is the fallout. This is the consequence of that action. And it was a stupid, fucked up thing to do. So,
I laget som inte presterar. Så enkelt är det. Vi ska ha tävling mot Granhult om 3 dagar. Nivån är så jävla låg.
Also considering that those two shouldn't even be on the team based on the bar that was set in the last episode, because those two cheated to get to the finish line, in which case they should never have even qualified to be here at the moment, which is also kind of interesting.
Att ni har fuskat. Stor grej. För mig är det. Det spelar ingen roll om ni fuskar eller inte. Jag måste hela tiden bevisa mig själv.
Yeah, god damn it, dude. This is another situation in which he's so blinded by his own privilege. Like, he just thinks nothing of it. And all these different decisions, all these things affect Simon so differently than him. You know, it is all fun and games. It's his little revenge quest, but these are things he will have to live with himself. He can't just dodge it. It's not just going to float away. It's not, you know, whatever. It's just like what we was talking about before with the secret stuff, and then also with the way that he's treated him, and then the way that he's denied his activity in the video while Simon is still publicly known as the person in the video, and that's not changed. They haven't addressed it much this season, but that's still true. Oh yeah, I forgot. They're getting rid of Russo. That's heartbreaking. Poor thing.
Men vadå, du kommer ju missa middagen. Jag säger bara till husmor att jag har PMS. Isterbandemiddag så är det lika bra att skippa den.
Du får tänka helt fritt.
Ingen
Gå på impuls, kör. Kör.
Pasta? Eller nej. Sushi. Poke bowl. Gud vad gott. Bibimbap. Eller...
So much of that sounds really good right now.
Du kan ta 2, jag är ganska hungrig.
Toppen, tack ska du ha. Hej.
Ringde du på riktigt hovet för det där?
Why not? So funny. You just do that, you know. Oh, he's getting some physical fitness outside of here from his friends. I mean, that's a good source. We've seen them on the field go. I mean, when you're looking at it an endurance sport, soccer is a mean sport.
Du ska ju få till det med Marcus.
Fin och allting, men det känns bara som att han gillar mig på riktigt.
Okej, och du gör inte det, eller?
Jag vet inte.
I mean, because he does, and you... Oh, yeah, he's not sure he's there that...
Jag fattar bara inte varför jag inte kan bli kär i han.
It's because he's in love with somebody else, and that somebody else just happens to be this chaotic force of nature on his life. I get it though. I've been in that situation where you're hung up on one person and it's like complicated, it's difficult, and then there's somebody who genuinely likes you and it's just so, but you're still not, you can't be 100% with them for whatever reason. I totally get it, but it's almost like everything without all the complications and whatever, you know, and there is that appeal to it, but there's just something that keeps you from fully giving into it.
Frågade Simon om Marcus.
Yeah.
Då kanske det är för att det inte är något.
Jag kollade hans mobil.
Men Ville, seriöst.
Yeah, it's a little much. Then again, Sarah checked your phone too.
Jag tror de är ihop. På riktigt.
Nej.
Att han träffar andra. Jag vet att det borde kännas okej, men det gör ju inte det. Det går ju inte att känna så.
That's understandable.
Det är mitt fel dessutom.
Yeah.
Vår grej kanske inte hans starka. HBTQI-certifierat så att det löser sig. Men se till om vi snackar. Vi ses sen.
Interesting.
Gick Erik hit?
Wilhelm, det får jag inte svara på.
That's some intel he probably never would have considered.
Vi ska hålla det privata privat. Det är så vi är uppvuxna. Annars utnyttjar folk det.
Och,
Especially in your position, that's quite true.
och leva med den pressen, menar jag.
That's another thing that makes being in his position very, very difficult. That's true. That's true to an extent of everybody, I think. You know, keep your private things private because depending on what is or isn't viewed in a favorable way by one person or another. And again, that can change from person to person. And that could always, depending on what it is, be used against you. But in his position, that's so much more true. One, you're royalty. You're a public figure. That can ruin your public image, that can tarnish your strength, your leverage, that can target your family, your loved ones. People always have an eye on you as well. And then once that's kind of out, you can't really change what the public thinks, or at least it'll be a very difficult thing to do. And again, depending what it is, that can allow you to be controlled by somebody else so that they can get benefits, you know, blackmail or whatever, you know, it's just, I mean, there is some wisdom to that, but it also prevents you from ever living an actual normal life in a way. you have to always kind of put yourself in a box, close yourself off, live behind these walls, you know, and that's not at all from the get-go. From the very first episode of this show is not what he's wanted to do. He just wants to be a normal kid in the world just because of where he was born, who he was born to. He just can't, or at least feels that he can't.
Det känns ensamt.
It's a prison that he didn't get to choose or didn't, whatever, you know, it just
Ensam förut också.
thrown in by no fault of his own.
Med Erik. För att jag visste att han fanns där. Och sen förra terminen så träffade jag en vän som väckte nya känslor hos mig. Jag önskar på ett sätt att det aldrig ens hade hänt.
But now that it has, you can't really go back, can you?
Det var liksom bättre att inte veta hur det kan kännas.
Yeah.
Samma bok ska alltså vara i samma grupp, muntligt framförande. Så att det är viktigt att alla i gruppen är delaktiga i ett bra rum och börjar arbeta.
All right, group up.
Hon drabbas av en djup känslor för en kvinnlig studiekamrat. Behovet av att finna sin egen sanning.
Wow, sounds really familiar, doesn't it?
Jag tänker inte prata på presentationen.
Jag lovar inte Sara i vår grupp också.
Jo, hon går jag.
Och fixa kaffe.
So Sarah is in their group.
Varför sa du att du inte känner Marcus? Jag sa det. Men om det är någonting mellan er kan du bara säga det. Vi hänger. Okej. Vi är inte tillsammans. Du har ingenting med det att göra egentligen, men...
Jaha, vad har ni kommit fram till? Någonting bra?
I'm glad that they said that. While they did have that little moment, he did try that escapism. I think that's part of the reason why he went for the jump right out the gate when they were hanging out to watch that film. You know, and he was like, hey, I like you. We slow down. We don't have to do this. You know, I think Simone was just kind of, again, maybe trying to escape his own feelings, or maybe that was his expectation of what was going on, or maybe he was just trying to escape or forget or whatever, or that's his idea of passion because that's what's been established so far in his previous relationships. I don't know, or maybe it's to avoid the personal connection. You know, stay physical, go with the attraction, try to forget again because he's still trying to get over him, go for the rebound as his friends kept pressing him to do. But then, you know, none of those feelings were there. And then when that got shut down, then it was that. And then they did watch the movie. We didn't really get to see how that played out, but then we get to see the conversation about how that's, he's like, yeah, you know, I get it, but I don't have that spark. I don't have that fire, you know, and that fire is somewhere else, and that fire though keeps burning him every time, you know, so far. And it's just like you know, that's fucking love sometimes, man. Sometimes it can't be easy. But he's also right, it's not really his business one way or the other, but it is good that they actually talked about it. But yeah, we're the mid-season, so I wonder what's going to happen this time around. He was about to send a text to Marcus, but then retracted that real quick. Do you though? After what you said last time about you have to wait until you're done with all of this, you're 18, you got to backpedal on that real hard. This is unrelated to the plot going on, but I used to have a keyboard kind of similar to this, not as complex, but pretty similar to that. Any other musicians out there, I'm so curious how you feel about this. As convenient and practical as electronic keyboard like that is, does anybody else, because I feel like it's not the same. It's not the same. It doesn't, like the pressing of the keys or the sound or the feel or the vibe, it doesn't feel the same, or I don't know, it doesn't give me that energy than being at an actual string chord hammer pedal keyboard. Does anybody else feel that way? Like, I want one, like, for the convenience of it, of course. Obviously, there's a lot of practicality, like I mentioned, to it, but there's just something different about an actual piano. Just me, or anybody else feel that way? Doesn't like the new owners, and she's not thrilled because she can see how Rousseau's acting with them.
Det känns som att han fånar sig. Jag märker inte om disciplin.
Undisciplined? Oh no.
Men det kanske är du som är problemet.
Ursäkta?
Men det är ingen ridmaskin precis.
Uh-oh.
Ibland kan vissa fullblod behöva lite...
Ja, fast tid är heller inte en garanti. Var vi klara här eller?
This is the horse she got to know, so she's extremely protective. Because again, with her, you know, perfectly behaved. It's all about how you treat the creature. You got to respect it.
Hon är allting som är fel med hästmänniskor.
Så det är ju klart att vi hittar någon bättre.
Lova, det är klart.
Oh, I hope that stays true, man.
Fröken, vilken låt vi ska sjunga på jubileet? Jag kan visa dig om jag får.
Ja, visst, kom.
Man kunde göra så här istället. Jag skrev ny text också.
He wrote new lyrics as well. Should all of this be in the school song?
Har du skrivit den själv? Den är bra. Vi får ta bort svordomen och sen måste vi ha Hillersk förstår att det handlar om skolan.
Yeah, it's got to be about the school. I get it though. He's really pulled towards talking about his feelings and putting an outlet for it. It's really good. I love that she's being really encouraging about it either way and giving legitimate criticism, like I was talking about. I was like, when did this stop? It's supposed to be the school song, right? And then it's turned about like, oh, I had all this tragedy and this love and then lost it and then hurt me and then my past and then he's just trauma dumping in the middle of the school song and didn't even bring it back to the school. It'd be one thing if it was like, I felt lost and then I found myself here or whatever, you know? And obviously, yeah, the cursing. It's interesting that cursing exists in that way through language barriers, but like, I don't know. I find that fascinating, just the concept of language itself. I also think the concept of cursing is absolutely asinine. So funny how that went, but yeah, it is good. He is talented. That is a great thing to have him coming in and rewriting this song and doing this thing is a great opportunity. Playing with the lyrics might be a little bit of a stretch, but giving it a different beat, a tone and flair or whatever, or at least creating something that is about the school. Yeah, I don't know how that seemed completely unrelated to me, but that maybe it's just me. Well, I mean, clearly not just me, because she called it out too. Well, he's got a little pep in his step after all of that right now.
Vi är inomhusrodd visserligen, men ändå. Spöar oss i någon gren sådär. Jävla slavan. Och så vill jag att det ska förbli.
Well, let's hope it stays that way then.
Fin slakt kan man säga.
I want to see a nice, clean slaughter.
Bra tal. Vad ler åt?
Nej.
Vad ler åt, sa jag?
Jag log inte.
Du säger emot mig.
What was that about?
Tillsammans med August här. Man skippar inte träningen bara.
Okay, that's fair. He did skip practice. Dumping his water and his food like that was unwarranted. But this guy, I do feel like he is pushing things just a little too far. Definitely let the power get to his head, I think. Just a little bit. Little bit.
Jag frågar om du ska med till skjutbanan.
Du kan hälsa Judas, jag är inte redo att sluta fred. Okej?
Fair enough. Oh wait, are we both heading to the same place at the moment? No, he went to the stables.
Eller komma till mig ikväll.
Varför då?
Behöver bara prata om. Alltså, det är inte...
Nej, alltså, jag kommer jättegärna.
Oh, they were heading the same place. Oh, all of this is in the same area, the shooting range, because Marcus was outside, so I got a little mixed up, especially since they were just talking at the shooting range in the hall.
Han är ett asshole.
Försök att inte vara det. Det är du som säger att man ska ge människor en andra chans. Om fjärde, om femte. Du vet som med pappa.
Oof. She makes a good point with that. That was a good way to turn that back around on him.
Hej, vad gör du här? Jag var bara sa hej då till...
To my long lost sister.
Alltså jag tror inte jag är redo för något seriöst. Jag tänkte att jag...
Det är helt...
That's fair.
Vi har inte bråttom, du och jag. Jag kan vänta.
That's also not fair either. If he never... Yeah.
Är det Wilhelm?
That's part of it.
Nej.
Come on, be honest.
Har varit drama med honom.
Jag förstår att han fuckar dig, men jag kommer aldrig såra dig.
Helt perfekt, det handlar inte om det.
You can't change how he feels, you know? And yeah, it is a little still too complicated too soon.
No offense, nu vill jag vara helt ärlig med dig. Du kanske inte heller direkt har de bästa förebilderna för ett svårt för dig och Sara. Men du är inte som din pappa.
Mm.
Jag vet att du inte vill förstöra något som är så fint. Ta det bara lugnt. Jag kan komma och heja på dig på rotävlingen om du vill.
He's a smooth talker, man. Without in a weird way, I might just be a little pessimistic here, cynical. It was kind of a, I'm not taking no as an answer, kind of. You know, it was very nice. It was very compassionate. It was very understanding. And he is just like, hey, but he didn't let himself get taken off the table. And he did do this reverse psychology dig into his family about what he might or might not be feeling, what he may or may not be associating all of this with, and that it may or may not be what he wants, or maybe it may or may not be what he thinks he deserves. Or, like he said, maybe you're afraid you'll destroy it like your father did your family, whatever. But I feel like that was very much so implanting a lot of thoughts and making a lot of assumptions. It could all end up being true, but I appreciate the stance, but I feel like he still not crossed a line, but like, I mean, kinda. I don't know. It did feel like he was just kind of like, no. in the like most compassionate, understanding way. It's like, we're not breaking up. We'll slow it down. We'll go at your pace, but we are not breaking up. But just like he said too back at their date, there is no rush, and he shouldn't feel like there needs to be. And like he said, he may never be ready, and that is also very true.
Hey.
But I feel like he should be given that space, you know, all the same, but we'll see what happens, man.
Du luktar häst.
Jag har aldrig...
Vadå för något?
Done what? Oh, does she think all of that was to come up here and to get busy, and he actually did want to talk?
Ja, nej, jag menar inte så. Jag vill bara...
Well, there, he actually, yeah. Huh, okay.
Prata.
Ja.
She's like, well, no, I want a bone. What are we doing?
Ingen kallat in mig till slottet.
Oj.
So he hasn't gone yet. So maybe he was just preemptively thinking about what could happen. And that's what he was talking to his stepfather about. Okay, that clears that up. He probably still has no idea why he's being summoned. He's just afraid.
Den där jävla videon, jag ska dit imorgon.
Okay, that's tomorrow.
Nu vet du i alla fall när käftsmällen kommer.
That's a good point.
Jag kommer jag känner mig bara som...
Ja.
Yeah.
Men ibland känns det bara som att så var det för mig.
Om jag klarar det så klarar du det också.
She's like, talking's over. Now this is why I came.
Jag tycker inte att du är världens värsta människa.
That's my dad. He's the worst.
Har du en kondom?
Who do you think I am? I'm August. Of course I've got condoms. That awkwardness of having to open the damn bastard in the middle of it and not kill the mood completely. I really want to know how Felice would handle the information about those two being together now like that, in that way. All right, let's see how this goes. Come on, man. I hate unsportsmanlike behavior. Dude, she is smitten. Oh, I was literally thinking, how does indoor rowing work? This is interesting. Well, Marcus is here either way. Let's go, Villa! Oh! Him? Fuck you! Okay. What if he loses on purpose? Okay, never mind. They're going. Just keep going. No, they lost. I'm sorry. I put it on Mr. Captain, dude. He's the one that like threw himself off the damn thing.
Du är svinduktig ju. Nästa år så tar vi. Okej. Jag måste tillbaka till skolan, men hörs vi sen.
Till och med en 3-åring fattar det. Alla vet det.
Varför skyller du på honom? Så jävla onödigt bara.
Men du vet ju hur viktig den här matchen var.
Even August is standing up for him.
Vet du vad, Vincent? Jag hoppar av.
Gör. Och i natt så drar vi till Granhult. Och så äggar vi hela huset.
Oh my god, fuck off. I hate this guy, man. Yeah, looking at the time, I don't think we're going to do this right now. We'll probably end with him going off or entering the palace. But that'll probably be our penultimate. And then the finale dealing with the fallout of whatever happens. Like last season.
Ers Majestät.
Sätt dig.
Or maybe we will do this right now.
Det du har gjort mot Wilhelm och kungahuset. Jag går rakt på sak. Beteende den här sista tiden har oroat hovet så till den grad att man känner sig
What?
inte klarar av pressen att ta över tronen. Reservplanen är i så fall du.
Jag.
Det innebär att du måste lägga om.
What? Are you serious? I mean, I threw that out as a possibility. Again, I don't know how royalty works or whatever in some situations, but they're just like, if he can't cut it, I guess you can do it. He's gonna get his ass rewarded for this shit. Are you kidding me? What? No. Oh my god. Hey, well, okay, bright side, I guess. I mean, that would free Villa to do whatever the fuck he wants then, right? That is a crazy out and a crazy reward for the person that did what they did. That is insane, dude. But I mean they're technically family, so I guess secession still kind of, I mean, it's deviating. What would the story be? What would the public story be? That is that is not what I thought was about to happen here. Oh my, what the fuck? Well, I bet he's feeling a little, light on his toes right now. A little probably like gobsmacked for sure. But like, God, he went here thinking his life was about to come to an end. And now they're just like, hey man, you want to be king? What a 180 of expectation going into this. All right, sorry. I had to like...
Kliva in om inte Wilhelm kan. Jag förutsätter naturligtvis att det här stannar mellan oss.
Självklart.
So he's effectively the crown prince now. Not the crowned prince, but like the backup. Like what Villa was to Eric. He is now that to Villa. This doesn't necessarily mean he will be the crown prince. He will be the king. This is all if Villa can't handle it. If he can't, you do it. You'll take over. We'll put our money on you. And that still goes back to, then what about Villa?
Det är inte min idé, ska du veta.
Oof.
Jag kommer alltid stå bakom min son, sätta honom först. Du är närmast i tronföljden.
Oh, okay. So he is just next in line. They're not going to assassinate Villa, are they?
För talet som ska hållas vid jubileet. Utifall Wilhelm inte klarar av att hålla det.
Interesting.
Jag kommer inte göra dig besviken.
Do you see him lighting up right there, man? I mean, yeah, let's do it. Let's just swap it out. He doesn't want this. And then he'd be free to do what he wants to do, assuming, and I don't think that they would execute him or assassinate him or whatever. I don't think they would go that route. That's a little extreme. But what would the excuse to be? Can you just abdicate? I guess you can. He can just like not doing it, I guess. Right? Maybe it's just as simple as that. No. Oh God. And I just thought her entire reason she didn't give two shits, like they're clearly friends. There is an attraction, but obviously she was like, she did have that fantasy of being with the crowned prince and potentially having royal babies and all that kind of crap. If it does shift, will she try to get back with August? And if that is the case, oh my God, we'll get into it. I'm sorry, we're right here at the end. I got stuff to say. We're just getting curveballs left and right here, man. What the fuck? Well, I mean, that confirms, at least, one of the things we had talked about before. Well, that wait didn't last long.
Ville, kom, vi ska pranka Granhult. Vi ska...
Vem har ägaren?
Well.
Så det var inte meningen att kockblocka någon så eller nu. Gå. Ja, yes, jag går.
Get out of my sight, peasant. Yeah. What in the world was this last 10 minutes? August is being handed the throne if Villa can't cut it, doesn't want it, or doesn't live up to the standards, whatever. And then as a rebound, Villa makes a move on Felice, who's always had a crush on him, but it kind of resigned herself to that not being on the table anymore. Even though her friends had kind of talked about it, they did flaunt about it. It's like, did he find out he's all the way gay, or is he bi? Is that still on the table because they're hanging out a lot? I mean, that answers one of the questions, because obviously we knew there was the expectation with him in the clubs and all this kind of stuff, just party lifestyle stuff they had talked about before, and it became a surprise to everybody, even himself. So obviously he did like women going into this, so there was that assumption, but I think we just got that confirmation about him going into this, and also could just be a physical release. Who knows? Also, after seeing what happened with Marcus, that's obviously shifted his, like, hey, I got to get over, I go do that. It's almost like what Simon is doing with Marcus. Until Marcus was like, no, we're going to be in a relationship. I'm not taking no for an answer. I do feel like that was a little manipulative, but he does seem like a good dude, all things considered. And yes, he's trying to help him out of a toxic situation, but the way he navigated that conversation, I feel, was a little manipulative. Either way, her whole thing when we were introduced to her was, I want royal babies. That's why, August is cool. I know he's crushing on me, but he's just related to the family. He's not in the family. I'll never have prince or princesses with him. So she was like, I want to be with Villa. And now this has thrown her way, but she's kind of changed. She's kind of gotten away from a lot of that, or at least dodged kind of talking about any of that sort of thing. But on the flip side of that, things have gotten so messy. Not only is August now potentially going to be the king, is that going to change how she views him? Or is she going to now be torn about what just happened here? How's that going to impact Villa and Simon's relationship now? Well, not that they're in one, but they still have a relationship, just not in a relationship. And now August, though, is with Sarah. So if she peddles, is that going to bring them on a collision course? Because Sarah still, like, Felice doesn't know this. Sarah's been shacking up with August, or even has an interest. Simon's the first person to actually, like, walk in on them interacting with one another. The fact that also she knew the truth about the video before anybody else and said nothing, and even tried to leverage that to get into this school. And then, like, what? Because then what will that do? Like, they've been really getting close. Things have been working out. Things are coming out great for Sarah right now. Like, she's living the life she's always kind of wanted in one way or the other. And again, there is this hand-me-down aspect of it, because it is like the clothes that she's been gifted, the money she's been gifted, the rooms that she's been gifted, the boyfriend she's almost kind of been here, secondhand, all of it. She's been picking up the scraps almost in one way or the other. I mean, that might not be the intent, but that is how it's come off. But she's really owning what's this change, obviously. And the way that she also relates to him, because of everything that he's done, the terrible things or whatever, and she's done her fair share of terrible things. Again, the way she's treated Simon, the way she's treated her mother, and the way that, maybe even the way that her father's treatment of the family has affected her, and the way that that's also played on how the siblings have been taking that very differently. Marcus called out Simon on it for here. Again, he was projecting, he was assuming he might be right, but I don't know if it was necessarily his place to bring that up, but whatever. We know how they all feel about that whole situation, and then she's trying desperately to get away from that life, to get out of it, to excavate herself out of where she's from, what lifestyle she's been in and whatever. So she almost has like a resentment for all of that. So that creates this whole thing where she also, she was made fun of at school. She never really fit in. People bullied her, picked on her, whatever. It was a nightmare. So she knows what it's like to not be liked, and she's relating to him now because of what happened and how everybody's been treating him, especially with how Villa has been using all of this to target and manipulate all the school in this way to gear it against him. She's like, no, I get it. Don't worry. You'll get through it. If I can do it, you can do it. And he's found a little bit of an anchor in her. And actually, he actually went to her to talk. And like she told Simone, he's just kind of like, I get the feeling that he's trying not to be a bad guy. So she's giving him that chance. And then she turned it around and it's like, you're all about second chances, right? Or fourths, thirds, fifths, sixths, whatever, like with Dad, like turning that around because she's still so jaded about that. And then she's doing the same thing for him. But then now, though, we got Marcus thing going on because he also again, because they are just like, he didn't take no for an answer, then kissing him in public like that. I also think that was a little bit of a boundary cross because that was never really established. I think that they were really at that place in that way, especially in public, especially after the conversation that he had with Villa. And that could have just been because he's also not willing to accept it right now or afraid to tell him, just like he was about them being together anyway. I don't know. There's a lot of messiness going on with all these different things, and it just keeps getting messier. And now with the handoff here with all that, and then Felice and him kind of having this little rebound moment when he needed this moment of comfort after the Marcus thing with Villa and her, and they initially wanted to be together, but then she was the recoil, and then that happened, then they almost got caught, and then she ran away. What's going to happen there? And then what's going to happen when they find out about the shift, if they take the shift? Because again, it's not set in stone. He's just now what Villa was for Eric. Villa's still the Eric in this situation. He's still the crown prince, but if he doesn't end up being the good fit, they're going to write him off, and August is going to be the new king. That's insane. I don't know how to take this. It's honestly mind-boggling right now. It's turned my brain to a chaotic mess of mush. But again, the whole thing, like with Felice, like how desperately has she like gotten away from that initial desire for her reasoning why she was attracted to him? Obviously she was attracted to him because they were friends and all this kind of other kind of stuff and whatever. There was a real attraction there, but she also had this fantasy about the whole thing. Is that now going to change her perception if things do hand off of August? And would she try to go back? And if she tries to go back, is that going to bring them into collision course with her best friend right now, who seems to be Sarah? The closer they get together, especially with the way they're dealing with Rousseau and all of this. And is that going to explode? Because again, Sarah's not been forthright at all about this except for the kiss thing. And they handled that pretty well, all things considered. But does she know the extent of it and how far it's continued to go? I mean, clearly not. Oh my God, what the hell? I didn't expect us to get all of that this episode. Honestly, I couldn't have called any of that happening for a matter. Anyway, let's go to Patreon. We got Vivi here. After watching this episode, what are your thoughts about Marcus so far? The actor Tommy Watering is such a sweet guy who did a really great job playing Marcus. I think I've talked enough about him up until this point. I think he's a great guy, and I think he's got good intentions. I feel a little icky about how he handled the situation where Simone wanted to talk about what they have, where they're at, and what he's comfortable with right now. I don't necessarily like how he's handling it, but I don't think he meant it in any kind of bad way, but that's just how it came off to me. Love them doing a rowing simulator competition. Kind of funny that they practice so much on the water but competed on a simulator. I'm not familiar with rowing teams to know if this is really a thing that happens. I've also had that exact same question. I thought that was kind of funny with them doing on the rowing machines that they were using to exercise, to practice. I guess it makes some sense if I don't know. I'm not sure. They have a lake. They have a place to actually row. Why did I don't remember. Was there a reason why they did it inside? I'm a little confused about all of that. But yeah, I was a little taken aback when that all happened. And again, the captain, I think it's his fault. And I like that August actually stood up for Simon when he like laid into him for that. He's like, dude, it's not his fault. Back off. I like that. Again, August, I do think is trying not to be a piece of shit. And I think that it's because he's been humbled because of all of this. Inadvertently, Villa's almost kind of freed him in a way. And I'm wondering if it's going to rubber band, though, now that the prospect of him becoming the crown prince or the king, if Villa can't cut it, is going to encourage him to go back on that growth. If that's going to have him steer into his darker impulses even further, or maybe even sabotage or push Villa. I didn't even think about that until the moment, until just now. Then we got Danny 23. What are your thoughts on Villa and Felice's friendship arc in this episode? Is it recoverable? I do think it could be recoverable. It's just, to be fair, it's hard, especially considering he knows she's had feelings for him and then he shut that down. And then in this moment, he needed to be held. He needed that physical connection in some way. It started off as just being held, and then it turned into a little bit more than that. And so much of that could be a complication for sure. Like 100%. Especially, I think he was just trying to rebound, and she played along with it, but like, I don't know. It's definitely can make things a little bit messy. I think it could be recoverable depending on how things play out, but it is going to make things intensely complicated. I do like that without Simone, she's the only person he's had to talk to. And it's almost like the people that he talked to, because of the way that he's lived his life, once you have that level of intimacy, it's almost like a barrier. It's like once we have this familiarity, it's almost like sometimes those lines start to blur between the connection, like the friendship lines start to blur for him in a way, because that's like when he lets somebody in and somebody gets in, it's almost like they inevitably cross a little bit of an emotional line. And I am very interested to see where that goes. Fun fact and trivia, I've seen many fan forums. It's interesting how in attempting to move on, both Simone and Villa try to recreate interactions they had with each other with Marcus and Felice. Simone goes to a horror movie like he had with Villa in episode 2. That's a good point. I thought it was just because he liked horror movies, which I think he does. He clearly does, but that's a very good point. I didn't see that as a recreation of that moment. Interesting. And Villa wants to be held like Simone does for him in the morning after rescuing him in episode 4. Interesting. I did not put that together. Okay, I don't know. That's kind of fun. I mean, you did label it a fun fact, but like, I didn't think of it that way. I wonder if that was intended that way, or just, the fandom seeing parallels. Like you said, you saw all that on the fan forums. I wonder if that was the intention. I love seeing, then we got Snolly here. I love seeing the insights from folks in the community. Good group, always giving me more food for thought with this series. Just a little compliment to the group we have here, the little community we have behind the show. I hope I don't get a lot of hate for how I felt about that Marcus situation. I do feel a little bit nervous about that. I do personally just feel a little icky about it. And again, I don't think he meant it that way. Snolly also asked, bigger villain, August, Sarah, or the Queen? I'd put the Queen over everybody, man. August and Sarah, they're kids. They're kids in the swell of a bunch of chaos in their lives. She's a whole ass adult who knows what she's doing and knows the situation and is desperately in denial and clawing at control and manipulating and using her power to do whatever. I'd say out of those three, the Queen, with a close second being the guy that is now taken over for August on the rowing team. But that's all of our questions for this episode, man. Wild mid-season. Holy shit. Anyway, guys, I want to know what you all thought. How do you feel about this episode? Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Hope you enjoyed the reaction. If it did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already. Remember, if you want to see the full-length reaction, or if you want to get early access or submit your own comments, questions, or fun facts for me to read at the end of this episode, you can do all that over on Patreon as well. And speaking of, before we go, I want to shout out Angela Burr, Lily Chen-san, and Adriana Maley. Thank you guys so much for becoming saviors here on the channel, helping sponsor and support the rescues we've been taking care of here at the office. You guys have been a tremendous help. And of course, I want to give a huge special thank you to all of our channel legends. Thank you guys so much for your additional support and the help that you've given the channel and all that, and especially all of our people over on Patreon, and of course, you guys here on YouTube, because without you guys, none of this would be even possible. Thank you guys so much. But that's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.